everyone, my name's David and today I'm going to be showing you our DocsPlus for Chromebook app. The DocsPlus app provides secondary school students with a range of age-appropriate tools to support writing across the curriculum. In today's session, I'm going to take you through all of the core features of our DocsPlus for Chromebook app. So by the end of the session, you're going to be able to understand exactly what it does and hopefully be able to use all those features with your students. I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about the interface that we've got here. So you can see all of our menu options are across the top here. It's a very simple interface. We've got our file folder there where you can search for my files. So those will be files that you've created with DocsPlus that are then going to be saved in your Google Drive. And then we've also got access to learning grids, which I'll show you in a little bit, but essentially learning grids is our database of pre-created resources that you can use with DocsPlus. Then across the top here, we've got our different menus. So we're going to talk, first of all, we're going to talk about how DocsPlus is used as a word processor, because at its core, DocsPlus is a supported word processor. So you're going to see within the document menu here, we've got various support options that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. After taking you through the document, I'm also going to show you how you can support your students with Wordbars. So Wordbars can be an absolutely fantastic way to support students with key vocabulary, writing frames, and topic words that can really extend a student's writing. Finally, I'll take you through some of the options where you can really customize DocsPlus to meet the needs of your students, whether that be students that have a variety of different accessibility needs, or students that just need varied support. You can change all of that within the options. I'm going to get started now, and I'm just going to type a simple sentence. So I'm actually going to say, hello, my name is David. And what you can see there is as soon as I type a sentence, the DocsPlus app, when I press the full stop, the DocsPlus app is going to read that sentence. So immediately, the student is getting that text-to-speech support built right into DocsPlus. Really nice voice, and this can really help with student proofing their work. You know, that self-check. We've all seen those students who they'll write a sentence and they'll read it back to themselves and they'll just read it exactly how they thought they wrote it. So text-to-speech can really help a student identify those mistakes as they write in a way that they wouldn't typically be able to do with a standard word processor. So that's the text-to-speech. You can, of course, click that read button to read it back as many times as you'd like. And that's one good thing to know, because the DocsPlus app for Chromebook can be used as a reader as well. So if you want your students to access content from a website, for example, that could be copied and pasted into the DocsPlus app. So the student could then have that text-to-speech feedback with content that they bring in from other documents as well. One other thing to understand is if a student makes a mistake. So let's say if I make a mistake. So you can see there, I've made a little mistake in my sentence. And what I can do is first of all, I get two cues that I've made a mistake. So a student, if they do make a spelling mistake, they're going to get two separate cues. The first cue that they've made a mistake is they're going to hear it. It's not going to sound right. So that text-to-speech can really help a student with that proofing by listening to words that have been misspelled. They're going to sound different because DocsPlus is just going to read it exactly how it's been typed. The second cue that I'm going to get that I've made a mistake is that squiggly underline. I think that's a technical term. And if I actually right click on that word on my Chromebook, what I'm able to do is bring up a list of spelling suggestions. So you can see when I do right click on this, I've got this list of spelling suggestions. And again, what the student's able to do is right click on any of these words to identify the correctly spelled word. That's the one. So then what I'll do then is I'll left click to put that in, and a student again is then able to independently proof their work and identify the correct spelling with the spell checker with that text-to-speech feedback through the right click. So what we've got so far is we've got our text-to-speech, so it will speak after it's after we finish writing a sentence. When we hit the full stop, it's going to read that sentence back to us, and then our spell check, if we do make a mistake, what we're able to do is right click on any of those spelling mistakes, and it will bring up a list of suggestions, and then we can right click to read. So that's the proofing tool there. The final support tool in the document that I'd like to show you is the word prediction feature. So the word prediction feature can be a really valuable tool for lots of students. Students who struggle with their spelling and grammar, students who really struggle to know what word comes next, so their output's low because they're really struggling with working out what the next word should be. The word prediction feature can really help that. So to enable that, I'm going to click this word prediction icon on the toolbar here, and that's immediately going to launch my word predictor here. And you can see it's already predicting some words. So if I wanted to write my next sentence, maybe I want to write something like my favorite sport is football. So I'm going to open my word predictor and I'm going to type an M. And as soon as I type an M, I'm going to get started getting predicted words beginning with M. Once again, I can right click on any of these words to listen to them, and then left click to put them in the document. Again, I'm now going to go through and I'm going to use a combination of free typing and then selecting from the predictor. What you should see here is following my favorite, you should see that words that have been predicted make sense with context of the words that's preceded it. So it's a smart predictor, and it uses the context of the words that are earlier in the sentence to predict the next word. So it can really help students get to the word that they want really, really quickly. In this case, I want to use the word sports, so I might have to type an S and a P. But what's really nice about this, if we see this here, if a student starts typing a word and they're a little bit off with it, so you can see here, I've started typing football, F-U-T. And my first three predictions in black are based off the letters that have been typed. So we've got future, futile, futures. The bottom three predictions in grey are based off the sound of the letters that have been typed. So you can see I've got foot, football, footsteps. So if I right click on these, that allows the students to identify the correct spelling. Even though they've been spelling it wrong, the phonetic predictor will get them to the point where they can identify that word. If I left click to put it in, you can go from there. Finally, if we use this example as well, if I start typing FOT, what you're going to see is even if the student doesn't know the letter that it begins with, even if they get confused with the letter sounds, the predictor's still going to predict words based off kind of that sound of the letters that have been typed. So it can be amazing for students that have significant issues with the spelling, but as long as they're fairly decent phonetically, the predictor will really help them. From a grammar point of view, the predictor will only predict grammatically correct words and phrases. So for example, if I started typing we, it's not going to predict things like we was. So it can really help students from a grammar perspective as well. So hopefully that makes sense. DocsPlus app at its core is a great word processing app with all of those, that text-to-speech support, that word predictor, the spell checker. It can really significantly help a student write independently and just increase their output, reduce the number of spelling mistakes, and also significantly reduce the time taken to produce a piece of work. Before we move on, I do want to point out down at the bottom, there is also an on-screen keyboard available if you do have a student that needs that. Obviously, with a Chromebook, you do have your physical keyboard, but just in case you do have a student that benefits from an on-screen keyboard, you do have that available there. The next thing I'd like to show you is our Wordbar feature. So word bars, as you can see here, I can toggle between my on-screen keyboard and my word bar. I've actually got a word bar up here on rivers. So there's lots of topic related vocabulary in this particular word bank that's going to support the student write a document, write a piece of work about rivers. And it's really, really straightforward to use. First of all, if you go to my word bar there, you can see I go straight into the edit mode. And as a teacher, when you have a word bar, you're able to edit it really, really, really quickly. So for example, if I wanted to go in and delete some of these words because I wanted to reduce the number of words I was presenting to my student, I could just simply go and delete those, and notice that down at the bottom, our word bar immediately changed. So as a teacher, you don't have to worry about the formatting. All you have to worry about is making sure that that content's in that word bar for the student. I'm going to show you how to make a word bar in just a little bit. But before we go into that, I do want to show you where you can get them for free, because everybody loves free stuff. So what we've got is I'm going to come back out and I'm going to go to our file folder here. And like I said earlier, I could go to my file and that's going to open my Google Drive to access files that have been created. What I'm actually going to go to here is Learning Grids. So I'm going to click on Learning Grids and I am taken straight to our database of resources here, and you can see in the top right hand corner we've got 454 resources that have already been created. So we've got 454 word bars that are already being made, and you can see as I'm scrolling down, we've got a ton of different things in here. I really like Pride and Prejudice, so I might open that one. But if you do want to do a search, you can just search your topic area right in the search bar there, do a quick search, and you can really quickly get to your content there. I'll just show you how to do it. So if I decide I want my students to do a piece of writing on Pride and Prejudice, you'd select the word bar, click Run Now. I'm going to not say a particular word bar, and that word bar is now open at the bottom of the screen. You can see in this particular case we've got different tabs which reflect the different topics within Pride and Prejudice, and again these can then be used to support the students' writing. So the way it works is a student will be doing some writing and they can simply be looking down at their word bar, and they can again right click to listen and then left click to put that text straight into the document. So once again, they've got the text-to-speech support, and just by left clicking the words in that word bar, they're able to add those to the particular document. So again, it will really help prompt the students to use this vocabulary in the writing and really enhance their written work. Once again, after you've downloaded your word bar from Learning Grids, you can go to word bar up here and you're going to be able to go through and edit this. So we could go through, and again, we could just go through and delete, or we could even add words, and all you have to do to add words is simply type them in. So really, really straightforward to be able to provide that content to your students. And once you've edited it, you would just go to File and just save that word bar. And what you're going to be able to do is, again, save that word bar in a location that your students can access. And then when they come in DocsPlus, they're just going to open that and use it to support their writing. So if I save that in my drive here, I'd be able to save this word bar in there, and I can use it the next time I come in. So really, really simple. Hopefully you find that straightforward. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can create a word bar from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to word bar, and then I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to choose New Word Bar. And this now, we've got a word bar, and we we don't have any words in it. So we need to add some words to this. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. We could certainly add the words here. So we could give this grid a name. We could say this is my, if I wanted to use rivers as an example, I'd just give that as my my grid name, and then we could put in some river related words here. So we could put river, and we could put tributary. If you want to put a phrase in, so I want to put Oxbow Lake in. If I put Oxbow Lake in, you're going to see that it splits it up into 3. I don't want it split up into 3. I want it in one particular cell. So in order to do that, I'm just going to put that in brackets, and then you're going to see that it keeps it there, all in one particular cell. So really simple. You can go in there, you can type your words, and then you'd simply go to File and save that word bar, and then the student would be able to open that on their Chromebook and use it to support the writing. So really straightforward with that. There is an even quicker way to create a word bar, and simply what you're going to do is you're going to go to Fast Add here. And as you can see here, we can create 2 types of word bar. We can create one by topic, which I just created with the rivers one there, but we can also create an alphabetical grid. So I'm going to select alphabetical grid here, and you can see I've got this blank page. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to the internet, and I'm going to find, let's say I was doing some work, I wanted my students to do some written work on Macbeth. I'm going to look for a Macbeth summary. So let's go, let's try this one. So we've got a bit of a summary of Macbeth here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this text. Let's just go. Oh, how's that? That website was going. Right, so now I've copied some text from our website. I'm just going to simply click paste in here. So I've added that text. I've clicked paste, and down at the bottom, the last thing I can do is choose to exclude the 100 most common English words. This will take words like the, and, then, words that you typically wouldn't want in your word bar, and I'm just going to check that, and now I'm just going to click create grid. And what you're going to see as soon as I do that, I'm actually going to remove my my river there. Just going to delete that there, so we don't have rivers in here. But what we've got now is we have our word bank, and I'm just going to click on the document to come back. We have our word bank here that is all about Macbeth, and all we did to create that was paste that text from that website and create that grid. So quick to create. Once again, you just go to Fast Add, alphabetic grid, paste the text from the website, and then click create grids, and it is as quick as that to create your word bar. So hopefully you can see there how quick you can create your word bars and be able to provide those to your students. Really straightforward and easy to do. The last thing I want to do, and just so you know, toggle between the word bar and the document, you just go between the menus there. So it's really nice and straightforward to get to back to your document. Last thing I want to show you is some of the options that are available. So if you click on the options tab here, you can see we've got various options available. First one I'll use is the appearance. You can change the font size. You can also change the background color and the font color. Lots of students can benefit from higher contrast between their background color and their font color. So in this case, I'm going to use a yellow background with a dark purple font, and that can make a real difference for a lot of students, particularly students with dyslexic tendencies. Under speech, what we can do is we can change the voice. So you have a couple of different voices available. If you fancy listening to an American voice, you can certainly do that. Some of the most common things that people will do here is change the speed. Some students will certainly benefit from listening to their written work being read at much more slowly. So you can actually select slow there, and the voice will read it slower. And you can also increase the amount of text-to-speech support. So some students may benefit from DocsPlus reading after each word rather than at the end of sentences. So you can just toggle that on so it will read after each word. Finally, under predict and spell, you can turn on or off the spell checker, and you can also have some options related to the predictor as far as the database side, whether it predicts the next word or not. So students may get concerned that they might just be selecting words randomly from the predictor. So for those students, you can actually uncheck predict next word, and you can also increase or decrease the size of the word database, and also the number of words that are presented to a student. So that's under predictor and spell checker. Finally, under accessibility, we do have something called super keys. So if I toggle that on, what super keys does is it really helps support students that might have issues with their fine motor control. So for example, if I click on this word bank, it actually splits it up into clusters, so it makes every target much larger for the student. So instead of having to hit this smaller target, they would just select the cluster, and that would then enlarge it, and then they'd be able to put that straight into their document. So that's under accessibility and super keys, and that can make a massive difference for students with physical access issues. So hopefully you found that really useful. Finally, once you've done your document, what you're going to be able to do is go to this file icon here, and this is where you have your save options. The one thing to remember is your document is separate to your Wordbar. So when you want to save your document, you've got to make sure you're in the document menu and then click Save As, and you've got the choice to save it as a DocsPlus document, a Google document, or a text file. If you want to save your Wordbar, you just have to make sure in the Wordbar menu and then click on the file and then save the Wordbar. So that's how it works. That's the important thing to remember with DocsPlus. The document is separate to the Wordbar, and they each have to be saved separately. Hopefully you found today's training useful. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. Thanks. Bye.